Okay, so good morning everyone. Good morning, sir. I am Rebustin Lingkodo Miso, a second year criminology student of MOIS. So, in this video, we're gonna tackle the chapter 1, Filipino influences, traits, and characteristics. So, let's start. So, there are learning objectives at the end of this chapter. The student should be able to recognize and compare positive and negative Filipino traits. Identify and appreciate Filipino values orientation. So, the Philippines is a meeting point for cultures from all over Asia and the Pacific because it has been a crossroads between East and West, and merging of cultures reflects the country's culture and its people. It comes from various ethno-linguistic groups that are native to the islands or migrants from various Asia native Pacific regions. Filipinos are the people who are naturally born to or recognized with the Philippine country. China, the United States, and Spain mainly influence the modern Filipino identity. True Filipinos are racially similar to Malays, but in terms of culture, they are more like the Spaniards. Thus, it could be claimed that Filipinos are the most hot-blooded and brave citizens in the tropical Asian countries. Like other countries, the Philippines has its opposing values and labels. It is believed by the Filipinos that the country have the best values in the world. True, it has experienced colonization by several countries, but the core values it has gained from the Filipino ancestors remained intact. And are still honored today, like the bayanihan or spirit or kinship and camaraderie implanted by Malay ancestors and close family ties inherited by Chinese ascendants. So, the most well-known traits and attitudes of the Filipino. So, first positive traits is the hospitality. So, hospitality is a trait displayed by every Filipino, characterized by heartwarming generosity and friendliness, exhibited to foreigners and locals alike. Filipinos are well known for being hospitable. This is one of the most popular qualities of Filipinos. Most foreigners who have gone to the Philippines fell in love with the warm hospitality they have experienced while staying in the country. This is a kind of value system which has existed in the country thousands of years ago. Good thing is that the hospitality of the Filipino is not only shown to the foreigners but to its fellow Filipino as well. Hospitality of Filipinos is shown in the following sample situations. A. When a person visits a friend's house, the host greets him or her with a very warm welcome. The host will immediately let their visitor sit down and will prepare a meal or a snack plus drinks for the visitor. The host will insist that the friend not leave the house with an empty stomach. A host will always make sure you had a great time visiting them. B. People offer their guests room to visitors if they're going to spend the night. Then C is meals offered to guests are very special. A host always finds a way to prepare great tasting food that her visitor wants to eat. So, next positive traits is the respect. So, this is often observed not just by younger people but also by people of all ages. In the Philippines, respect for one's elders is a tradition. Like po and opo, these words are spoken by the Filipinos when talking to elders or in order to show respect to a person's in authority. These Filipino words mean yes when answering or talking to the elders. The next is pagmamano, another way of showing respect to the elders when greeting them. This is done by putting their elder hands on their foreheads. Then last is Filipinos also show respect at work by making bow to their employers. So let's move to strong family ties and religions. So Filipinos value their families so much that they tend to keep families intact through the generations. Religion is important and creates a strong bond, marking God as the center of their lives. Filipinos believe in only one God, and majority of the population are Catholics, going to bed before the start of the meeting, conferences of program gathering, etc. On weekends, most Filipino families make sure to have quality time together by watching television or eating a family meal, watch movies or going to beach resorts. Then next is generosity and helpfulness. Aside from being hospitable, Filipinos are also well known for being generous. They shared what they have to the people around them, even when they only have a little. This could be felt during birthdays, weddings, or feast party. When visitors came to celebrate great tasting, special foods are specially prepared for everyone. It is shared by friends, families, or even strangers. When you will be in trouble, Filipinos cannot refuse to help you. They are always willing to assist you or lend a hand. The next is strong work ethics. So another good thing most Filipinos have is being hardworking people. They are always willing to work almost the whole day to provide the needs of their families. Filipino farmers, though earning so little, but they work harder with not much compensation. Aside from their regular work, Filipinos always find creative ways to look for other sources of income. They sell foods and other items for the convenience of their neighbors. The next is loving and caring. So, because of their generosity, hospitality, and religiosity, Filipinos are found to be the sweetest and most loving people in the world. It is expressed by both foreigners and Filipino women that most Filipino men are so sweet and romantic. When it comes to love, they will send their beloved flowers, bring her to a very romantic place, takes her sweat coats, and tell often how special she is to them. Filipino women are also romantic and very caring, which often makes some foreigners want to marry them. Women tend to prepare dinner before their husband comes home. They love and value the relationship, always staying faithful to their husbands. They love deeply and sincerely. So, aside from positive traits, there are negative traits of Filipinos. First is fatalism, bahala na or come what may attitude. When Filipinos are facing difficulties and shortcomings, they have this attitude of leaving it up to God to sort things out. An attitude of what goes around comes around. Filipinos have a tendency to surrender the future to luck. They have that strong confidence that everything will work out in this interest without doing anything. Filipinos often accept bad news or circumstances without trying to stop or change them. This can sometimes be helpful in adversity, but it can also keep us from finding ways out of situation. Also, constantly expecting the worst can get pretty depressing. Next is manyanya habit or procrastination. True-blooded Filipinos have the attitude of causing delays in accomplishing things or making transactions. When not interested or not in the mood, they wait or reserve until tomorrow or the next day to finish what they are doing or meeting their transactions. However, there are Filipinos nowadays who take their time in doing things or in making decisions promptly. There are some who are habitually late or not showing up all. There are few Filipinos who are punctual for social meetings. In fact, it is not expected of them to arrive exactly on time, especially at a party. The bahala na attitude is the outcome of the manyanya habit. When the tasks are left undone, this is usually shown and even expressed by people who do not care much of what lies ahead and just leave everything in fate. Third is crab mentality. So, this is an attitude of some Filipinos where they tend to push each other down to clear the way for their own gain. Filipino people with this kind of mentality or attitude try their best to ruin each other, either by making issues against the other for him to turn out bad to the people or to the company or organization, so that people will gradually put distance and lose their confidence and also trust that eventually result to their replacement. Fourth is hypocrisy. This is a trait of the Filipino where criticisms to others' failure to live with the moral standards of the society are inevitable. In the Philippines, morality is high valued. Most of us try to live up to the standards set by the traditional society. However, as no one is perfect, many of us are not actually able to sustain these standards. The fear of being an outcast has forced a lot of people to live a double standard life. To hide out our failure in following a norm, we tend to be condemning those who are caught red-handed. A perfect example could be the criticisms faced by those who become pregnant outside marriage. The sad fact behind this scenario is that some of these critics could have actually engaged in premarital sex to only that proof is visible. Fifth is ningas kogon. Most Filipinos are very good at the start when doing something. Nevertheless, after a few hours or days, that excitement to do or accomplish something is lost and become too lazy to finish what we have started. So, next is tardiness, Filipino time. Tardiness or Filipino time. Only in the Philippines that we have the so-called Filipino time, but not exactly referring to the Philippine Standard Time. But then again, we use it to refer to the tardiness of the persons that we are waiting or who keeps on coming late to the set time schedule of events. Instead of being something to be proud of, Filipino time brings a negative impression to our people. When the invitation says the program will start at 7 p.m., it is expected to begin at 9 p.m. So, Filipino time. That is Filipino time. This is not only cause conflicts in relationships, it also discourages others, including foreigners, from getting involved in supposedly productive activities, as too much time can be wasted on waiting. 7. Gossiping. Filipinos are fond of talking about others' business. It is not true that only women are into gossiping. Even men can also be nosy on other people's lives. Secrets are brought out, failures and flaws are emphasized, and relationships are destroyed. Worse, gossips are passed around. They tend to be twisted until the final story becomes too far from the original, thus causing more damage. 8 is blaming. So, Filipinos can sometimes be too self-righteous. When mistakes happen, we do not want to take the blame. We lack humility to accept our failures, and instead we point at others. This shows how irresponsible we are on our actions. This attitude destroys teamwork and reliability becomes an issue. 9. Selfishness, being insensitive of others. So, most of Filipinos are insensitive to the needs and situations of others. This could be an outcome of too many problems that Filipinos are facing, and the tendency is to focus on their own needs first before others. 10. Disobedience to simple rules and instructions. Some Filipinos, despite of the understanding of the purpose of laws and ordinances, have inability to observe and follow them. Consequently, crime, victimization, and accident rate in the Philippines are constantly rising. Poverty is getting more rampant and lifestyle development is relaxed. Next is 11. Attention taker. Filipinos are fun and people loving race, thus attracting attention is natural for them. Nevertheless, it is a different thing to be an epal or kapalmoks, simply being an attention grabber. Sometimes in our desperate need to be the center of attention, we do things that are already embarrassing, like butting in conversations as know it all or by being scandalous. This habit is also common to our politicians. Instead of prioritizing their duty to give the best service to the people, they rather prioritize their tech pieces to grab attention that will bring them more chance of winning in the next election. But thanks to our vigilant netizens, this kind of politicians earn more shame than fame. 12. Being onion skin or too sensitive. Another habit or attitude that we need to change is our being too proud, which usually results to being oversensitive. If we think highly of ourselves, then we have the tendency to put a wall around us, and that a signboard on our forehead saying, "I must be respected." Therefore, when someone makes a joke or not so positive comment about us, we feel like we are not respected and we got offended. If all people in the country do not know how to accept constructive criticism, then we can never expect unity. So there is no unity. 13. Living beyond their means or social climbing. One of the reasons why a lot of Filipinos live in poverty, it is because of overspending of money. Since most people want to live an elite lifestyle, many resort to social climbing or living beyond their means. Sometimes some of us think that as long as we wear designer clothes and shoes and we send our children to the most expensive schools, it is alright to be swimming in credits and loans. 14. Passivity or lacking of leadership. So, Filipinos' lack of initiative for change is also known reason why our country does not progress. We keep on complaining against the government and other societal issues. However, we do not do anything about them. One of our excuses is the lack of faith that our small actions can bring change. However, the worst reason for this could be our lack of care for what is happening around us. Common Filipinos also lack courage and confidence. If you can notice it in classrooms, churches, or conference rooms, most of us don't like to sit in the front seat. 15. Other negative traits. Some Filipino women give birth at an early age. At an early age 16, teenage pregnancy. Some just don't mind their own business. Some have many bad habits like drinking alcohols, smoking, and etc. Some poor teenagers engage in prostitution. There are many broken families, a lot of bad words to choose, from which Filipinos just can't avoid seeing those. Most Filipinos tend to be with friends most of the time than to be with their parents. Filipino character and personality. There are three main traits underscoring Filipino core values. First is personalism. Filipinos valued interpersonal relationship. It is firmly believed that harmonious personal relationship is the key to successful endeavors. Amicable settlement or dispute is the primary means of restoring broken relationships, and face-to-face open-up forum is considered once conflict is recognized in an organization or the community. Next is familialism. Filipinos are family-oriented. Development programs and projects in the community are concentrated on the family. Decisions on matters is centered on the welfare and the best interests of the family rather than on the betterment and interests of some individuals. The mistakes committed by a family member affects the credibility and of the immediate members of the family and relatives. 3. Particularism. Displayed behavior by the individuals, may it be good or bad is blamed against the family. It is based on the principle that home is cradle of human personality and character, that is product of goodness is always good, and those who are molded in wickedness will always show of badness. Individuals strive to promote their own and their family's interests over community and interests. On the other hand, knowing how to entertain people or marunong umasikaso ng kapwa is important. Conformity to proper codes of conduct reaps the rewards of cooperation and assistance. Non-conformity is punished by withdrawal support. Filipino values orientation. Values orientation is the approach that may influence work or social relationships by persons relating to objects, events, and ideas. And next is three main obligations underlying Filipino value orientation. The relational or face-to-face interactions and the resulting responsibilities are called interpersonal obligations. This is in relation to the value in Filipino cultural orientation. The personalism, pakikiramay, pakikisama, bayanihan, and galang are the nature of interpersonal relationships that are inherent to the pure-blooded Filipino people. Number 1 is pakikiramay. It is the Filipino value of going out of the way to help without being asked or unsolicited help. Number 2 is pakikisama. Smooth interpersonal relations. Regardless whether someone's views are agreeable or not, Filipinos are capable of getting along with it. Camaraderie, trust, confidence, and loyalty are enhanced and developed by this Filipino value. Third is bayanihan. As mentioned in these preceding topics, Filipinos are able to render services and generous enough to extend help without compensation. Somebody can request help in time of need from those to whom it is extended. Fourth is galang or respect. Filipinos are basically oriented to revert to the opinions of elders, peers, or those in authority during important discussions, during social encounters, verbal clash, or any sign of extreme familiarity in public meetings is a sign of disrespect to elders or persons in authority. Okay, so good morning, sir. So this is the continuation of my topic. So, Filipino core values. Basic concept of values, core values, are persons or organizations' fundamental beliefs. These guiding principles dictate conduct and can assist individuals to know the distinction between the right and wrong. It also assess organizations by by establishing an unwavering guide to determine if they are on the correct track and fulfill their objectives. Values are essential because they assist us to grow. They assist us build the future that we want to experience. Hundreds of choices are made every day by every person and every organization. The choices we make reflect our values and beliefs and are always aimed at a particular purpose. That aim is our person or collective organizational needs to be satisfied. When we make choices using our values, we create a conscious decision to concentrate on what matters to us. They create inner cohesion within a group when values are shared. Filipino values system. Race, strains, and cultural components such as ETA have derived Filipino values. Indonesians, Malayan, Hindu, and Chinese who created our moral scruples core. Cultural individuality combined with Spain-derived cultural components, the US, and the contemporary planetary society, Panopio and Rulda 2000, you can find Filipinos in almost every part of the globe. We rejoice at the sig feet of other co-Filipinos when we're in a foreign nation, as if there's something that connects us. Sometimes, if we don't know a person's nationality, but he or she looks like a Filipino, we often ask, Filipino ka ba? And we are happy when he or she answered yes. However, if someone fails to satisfy our expectations in the manner they answer questions or in the manner they act, we say in frustration, kapwa Filipino pa naman. Landa Jocano, a famous sociologist, says that there are no negative Filipino values, only the wrong how powerful families are to preserve, promote, and pass on our cultural values from one generation to the next. Here in the Philippines, values are really of importance and should be respected as we grow older. Our parents shape us different values from the time we're born, pagkalinga, pag-aaruga at pakialam were given by them. These value shapes our real Filipino culture, showing that we are conscious of others. The Filipino value system relates to the set of values of or other value system that has historically been filled by a majority of Filipinos in their life. This system, held by a majority of Philippine values, involves the distinctive combination of coherent ideologies, moral codes, ethical procedures, and cultural etiquette and private values promoted by the Philippine society. However, as with any culture, the values held sacred by any person may vary on the grounds of religion, education, and other variables. As a general description, Filipinos' separate value system is mainly rooted in private alliance system, particularly those based on kinship, duty, friendship, religion, especially Christianity, and business interactions. Philosophical foundation of Filipino values. For the most part, Filipinos are focused on preserving social harmony, mainly driven by a group's willingness to be accepted. The primary sanction against diverging from these values are HIA ideas, approximately translated as a sense of shame, an amour proper or self-esteem, social approval, group recognition, and group membership are significant issues. Caring for what others believe, say, or do is a powerful influence on Filipinos' social behavior. The Filipino philosophy is basically non-dualistic according to the anthropologist Leonardo Mercado. He concludes, based on the linguistic analysis of Filipino value terms such as loob, buot, buot, that Filipinos desire harmony not only in interpersonal relationships, but also with nature and religion while remaining non-dichotomous. The Filipino wants to harmonize the object and the subject while keeping both as distinct at the same time. Models of the Filipino values: exogenous model or the foreign model. A legal and formal model is defined as the international model. Filipinos from Western cultures, particularly from the Spaniards and the Americans, inherited the foreign model. An example of foreign or exogenous impact is the bureaucracy displayed in the Philippine government. And that's all. Thank you.